Quantum coherence in living cells, the convergence of biological sensing, fault-tolerant computing, and machine intelligence. Presented by Brook.
We have built the current AI boom on silicon microchips that compute by brute force. This architecture carries a physical limitation. To process massive models, classical chips must move electrons through circuits at scales that generate uncontrolled heat and waste extraordinary amounts of electricity. Global data center energy consumption reached 565 terawatt-hours in 2026. By 2030, that figure is projected to exceed 1,200 terawatt-hours. At that point, the energy required just to keep these servers running will equal the total electricity consumption of Japan. Hardware improvements are not keeping pace. The newest GPU generations offer 30 to 40% power efficiency gains over 18 months, but AI model parameters and inference demands are growing significantly faster. The arithmetic of classical scaling does not close. Saving the AI revolution requires more than slightly better silicon. The industry has reached a physical wall that requires a transition to a different kind of computational physics. The energy crisis is compounded by a statistical bottleneck. Classical AI has a rigid requirement for massive, curated datasets to recognize patterns or make accurate predictions. This makes current models struggle in fields where data is inherently sparse. In rare disease research or the study of novel pathogens, there simply aren't enough examples for deep learning to find a signal. Classical AI is hitting its physical energy limits and its statistical data limits simultaneously. Without an architectural evolution, future advancements in these fields will stall. The transition is already reaching the factory floor through hybrid data centers. In these facilities, photonic quantum processors are physically integrated alongside classical GPUs via standard PCIe connections. These quantum accelerators handle specific computational bottlenecks, like matrix multiplication, with 50 times higher throughput. They achieve this while consuming 6 times less energy per workload than their classical counterparts. By offloading the most energy-intensive tasks to these photonic circuits, hybrid data centers can scale their AI capabilities without hitting the electricity constraints currently bottlenecking classical infrastructure. Quantum models address the statistical root of the data hunger problem. They use a different mechanism for pattern recognition that relies on a significant reduction in sample complexity. A 2025 experiment at DTU demonstrated a 70 million-fold reduction in the amount of data required to characterize a noisy channel. The experiment showed that quantum-enhanced protocols can identify a fingerprint within data using a fraction of the examples required by classical training. This efficiency enables the creation of high-quality models from the small datasets found in rare disease research. It allows AI to find patterns where data was previously too sparse to be useful. We no longer have to rely exclusively on specialized cryogenic laboratories to access quantum effects. In fact, biology has evolved to exploit these processes naturally, operating in the warm, noisy environments of living systems. Researchers are now programming cells to biologically manufacture quantum sensors using genetic instructions. At the University of Chicago, scientists repurposed a fluorescent protein into a triplet spin qubit. Because it's genetically encoded, the cell builds the sensor internally. These sensors are externally addressable. Using radio waves, scientists at the Technical University of Munich have achieved selective control over flavoprotein radical pairs in living cells, effectively tuning their quantum states like a radio dial. This approach turns biology into hardware. It allows living cells to host highly sensitive quantum platforms for diagnostics and mapping, without requiring invasive delivery or extreme cooling. The progress in fault-tolerant logical qubits has accelerated. Benchmarks that were projected to be decades away are being documented now in peer-reviewed research across superconducting, neutral atom, and photonic platforms. This hardware maturation has triggered a national security transition. In June 2026, the U.S. government issued a mandate requiring all federal agencies and contractors to migrate to post-quantum cryptography, with high-value assets moving to new standards by 2030. Organizations waiting for this technology to reach a theoretical maturity before planning are miscalculating the window of change. The mandates and the hardware integration are moving in years, not decades. The convergence of quantum sensors and genetic engineering is moving from the lab toward clinical applications. This biological quantum platform provides a new way to monitor cellular activity at scales relevant to medical diagnostics. These powerful tools enable cancer metabolic imaging and the precise detection of viral antigens from within the cell. Wearable arrays of quantum sensors are also being developed for room temperature brain-computer interfaces and cardiac monitoring. These results suggest that complex computation is not an exclusive property of silicon. It is a property of quantum systems that process information coherently, a mechanism that biology has utilized for billions of years. Classical AI has served as a powerful approximation of this process. As photonic and biological quantum systems are integrated into our infrastructure, the classical scaffolding is being replaced by the more efficient structures it was built to find.
Thank you for watching. For more of Paul Brook's detailed research and analysis, please go to PanEuroCapital.com, and you will also find it at his personal website, which is paul-brook.com. All the best and bye for now.